done everything. So I've just pressed the record button so that anybody who didn't make it onto the call. Oh, there's Helen. We've got Helen as well now. Morning, Helen. Wave to us. Yep. Well done. So yeah. So thanks. This is going to be the way of the world, I think, for a little while. There's a chat feature down the bottom right-hand corner there, or down the bottom. If you click on chat, wherever your little control panel is, then you'll get a little white panel come up down the side, usually, where you can type into and do things, send us a message. It's hard sometimes to concentrate on what you're saying and try and read messages that are coming up, so I'll do my best. So introductions, we've had an introduction from Jody, who normally comes to the Joondalup group, did come to the Joondalup group on Monday. We had that face-to-face. We had 11 of us in the room there, so we weren't quite 1.5 meters apart, but hopefully we're all still virus-free. And we've got some new members. So last month we had visits from Helen Kelly, who's now joined up and is a member. So there's Helen. And Darcy. We had Darcy come along. Darcy's now a member. And Stephen's here with us this morning from Mount Isa, where he's been over on a business trip. So, and Stephen's going to have to disappear shortly. He's got to go off and catch a plane. So thank you, everybody. It's really, really good to see you all on board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the microphones shortly, because we would do updates and get updates from everybody. What I'd like to know is, how's this situation affecting you so far? How do you think it's going to affect you longer term? And what are you doing to, I guess, to try and counter that? What are you doing? What are you changing? What are you doing differently? So I'm going to start with Stephen and see if I can turn Stephen's microphone on, because Stephen's going to have to leave us in a little while. When we've been around and got a few people's updates on that, I want to go into the spotlight for Derek. Derek's absolutely really, really nervous. I'm just trying to see if Derek's still there. Oh, yes, I got you. Derek's really nervous about talking to the group. I told him you're all very empathetic, and we'll help him along with this. We'll do that. I've created a Padlet for him. We'll have a look at that. And then we'll get some more updates, and I've got some education stuff there if we want to do that. We'll have a break about halfway through. So, Stephen, I'm going to attempt to turn your microphone on. Just tell us. Oh, you've got your microphone on. Talk to us, Stephen.
Yeah.
What have you seen so far? What are you seeing? How's it affecting you? What do you think the long term is, and what are you doing about it?
Well, actually, a lot of meetings I do actually online anyway. I've done them in the past. I mean, the old way was using Skype. I service clients. I've got a client in Geraldton. I've got a client in up north, which I don't always go. Like in morning, I was often doing things online, and just Skyping and put the headset on and just instead of making the trip over all the time. But now it's going to means that I'll just do more of it. So it's not as much disruption to me, although I like personal contact, see clients, at their premises and see how they're going and look at what they're doing. I guess that what they could do is just say, "Oh, take me on a tour. Just go around with your laptop or whatever, mobile device or mobile even. Just to show me what your place is like." I don't know. That's going to be some of the things that I thought of maybe we could do. But still like being there. I mean, I communicate with my family, which is over east a lot. on WhatsApp, or usually on WhatsApp. And so I get to see what's going on there, and it's the next best thing. But yeah, I think we'll have to do more of that.
Yeah, and I think socially as well, it's important to keep in contact with people socially. And I mean, Cheryl has Skype calls to relatives in the UK every weekend, and that works really well. But I think even locally now, we people need to keep in contact. We need to keep that contact going. So, how do you think it's going to affect your clients?
My what?
How do you think it's going to affect your clients?
Clients? Yeah, that's I haven't got a great deal of clients that one was used to be in the cafe industry, so that's gone already, so that's all right. It's not going to affect them. There's one actually new client was hoping to come on board. They've got hairdressers, and that's going to affect them a lot. That's going to be really, I mean, people are not going to go to get their hair cut as much as they probably would before, or maybe they won't be wanting to be in this. Maybe the hairdresser can just have a mask on all the time and feel a bit more safe. I think clients have got to let their customers know that they're taking every step and not taking any risks, and for their safety and their own.
Yeah, that's right. It's very, very much a two-way thing, isn't it?
Yeah. One of my clients has actually just seen a business opportunity with they've got a container load of a hand sanitizer coming in, aerosol, 70 mils, and if anyone's got $4,500 to set up a letter of credit, they can get 1,000 of those, sell to anyone they want.
Okay.
That's just, I was just speaking to someone yesterday, a client yesterday. He's got that. He says you have no trouble selling them all, but he just said if you got anyone who wants to take it off, make use of that. I thought of the Airbnb people who I saw in Joondalup the other week. They may be able to take advantage of those. It's a
yes, Margaret, you mean? Yeah. Okay.
I thought I mentioned this now before I rush off, and it happened to. That's an opportunity. They get them. I mean, they sell for about $12 odd, and they can buy for $4.50.
Wow.
Margin.
Okay. Yep.
And I'm sure they'll sell like hand sanitizer, not hotcakes, but hand sanitizer. Which I don't know. You just can't get it in the shops.
No, that's right. I'll let Margaret know. She can contact you.
This client happens to be in the industry of doing an opposition to SodaStream, the carbonated canisters.
Okay.
So they had a supplier that had those aerosols they can make use of.
All right. Let's.
So
you mentioned coffee shops and cafes. Let's hear from Sam, who's just disappeared. So let's hear from Andrew instead, who's also in that game.
Oh, right.
Andrew.
Yo.
What are you seeing with Smolt's Larder?
Seeing, it's probably be more helpful to talk about what we're doing. So there's been a slot, hasn't been actually much of a drop off, and we're well positioned because we're moving to take out meals, take home meals. So what we've done is we've ramped up, well, in the order of, we went on a webinar the other day. We're part of a foodie coaching program. So they basically talked about critical things were taking action, not sitting around waiting for something to happen, not waiting for it to blow over because it's not gonna. So just get your act together and get moving, and don't be worried about failing. Good's good enough at the moment. So we just started getting moving. As Stephen said, talk to your customers regularly. you've probably all seen all the messages about what people are doing for COVID, and I think that's sort of peaked and passed. Like people are now wanting to find out, well, what else you're doing that's a bit more exciting apart from the boring schmoring. So we've really ramped up our social media stuff. I'm sure you're following us and have seen it and have been wowed by it. Thank you, Peter Butler. Hug for you. And we've done some boosting of our posts, and that's been really valuable in terms of paying a bit extra. So as a comparison, our standard post would get like a 275 person reach and 11 engagements. One we did about what we're doing and spreading some community love got, so we normally is 275 reach, we got 5,178 for that one. Yeah, so it's pretty tidy, and 1,278 engagements and 40 comments. So it kind of went off, which is good. So the thing we're trying to be now at the moment, probably key message, is being agile, altering our offering to suit what the market's looking for, and telling them, not telling them what they're looking for, but really being clear that, yeah, we're onto this. Did a customer survey as well. So we did that through our Facebook and Insta, and yeah, that's sort of the main areas. So got really good feedback on that in terms of opening hours, when people would want to pick up take-home meals, sort of stuff they're looking for. And from that, now we're going to offer people looking for some pantry staples, not click staples, but eggs, milk, all that sort of stuff. Apparently people are cooking again. I don't believe it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we obviously can get that in bulk from our suppliers. We'll repackage that in smaller packs and charge people 4 kidneys and a pack of hand sanitizer for it. So,
yeah, it's interesting. There's no shortage of fresh food in the supermarkets, I've noticed.
The issue is distribution. Western Australia, and you hear all these, I've got to use appropriate language, but I'll use num-nums saying, oh, we're going to run out of food, we're going to run out of this. That's just absolute bullshit. Australia can feed itself 6 times over. WA especially, we're in a great position. It's about distribution is the issue at the moment.
Yeah.
And limiting the amount of people with half a brain going to supermarkets. So we should be having lines and tasering them instead.
Okay. And on the facilitation front, what's happening there?
Yeah, that's great too. We've had on Tuesday, I think it was, had a meeting with the client, said, oh, we're going to cancel these next 5 workshops we've got with you. And I just said, oh, no, you're not. This is the way we're going to do it. So I got quite, kind of semi-assertive, said, we're going online. This is how we're going to do it. So I went in there with a plan, convinced them it was a good idea, because I said, if you stop now, you're going to get absolutely smashed by your client base. So I said, here's the process. Here's how we're going to do it. It's not going to be perfect, but at least we're going to be doing something, and we're taking action, and you guys will be ahead of the curve compared to a lot of others. So let's go and knock that out. And had a workshop Tuesday. There's a following one Wednesday. The client said, we're not going to do Wednesday. We're cancelling. Said, no, we're not. We're doing it online. This is how we're going to do it. Bang, bang, bang. Turned around in half an hour, done. So always go with, my message is for all of us is good enough. Perfection is the enemy. So just knock it out, find a way, get going, and it'll be fine. And people are pretty forgiving at the moment. So it's just...
Yeah, well, forgiving, we all need to do a bit of that.
Yeah, so it's cool. So, and I'm getting people, and I did a post yesterday, just about the stuff we're doing and getting good response to that. So, and I've already got another client sort of say, oh, got this forum with some crayfishermen. Can you give me a hand? So at least we can mute them when they're swearing at us. So.
Yeah. So we're getting a few messages coming up here in the chat box. I think everybody should be able to see them if you've got your chat box open. That thing about perfection, I've got a client who Peter Butler knows very well, because he's doing some work for as well, who is the ultimate perfectionist, and it really has held her back over the years. And Peter loves working with her. But now, if she had been doing what I've been telling her for the last 3 years, she would have been able to take a whole lot of her stuff online. She does training courses. And in fact, I invited her to this call this morning, and she's running a workshop, a face-to-face workshop for Department of Justice, who haven't cancelled. It's a smaller group than she normally runs, but she messaged me last night and said I won't be on the call because they're still going ahead with the workshop. So that's an interesting one. But yes, I mean, if she would have been online ready, or would have been online if she had been doing what we talked about. But that's, yeah, it's very difficult to change people that are in that mindset, isn't it? There's a guy called Connell McDevitt who did a little video. It was on Twitter, I think, and I haven't been able to get a link that I could post out to people, but it was about 90 seconds. He's worked in the sort of disease control thing. He worked on the Ebola outbreaks and all of this sort of thing. And in his 90 seconds, he really emphasized about perfection being the enemy and getting things right. He said that the only way you're going to beat a virus is to go fast and stay ahead of it. He said once it gets past you, you've lost it, basically. And I think we're seeing that in Europe now. It's just too little, too late. But it was a really good video, and I thought, well, everything he said related to business as well. You know, if you spend all your time trying to get something perfected, you know, the Facebooks and Googles of the world and Microsoft, I'll wrap into that as well. They put stuff out and then fix it up later on, but you got to get it out. Anyway, let's hear from who else. Oh well, Sam, you're in the hospitality game as well. Let me just unmute you, and if I can find you. Here we go, GBC. So Sam, you're on.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'll go through the 3 things affecting so far long-term what we're doing. We lost 4 staff this week. So we had 1 staff member in Bali. I'm like, don't bother coming back. We had another staff member who was American who said, I just really want to get home. And I'm like 100% behind you on that one. And we had another staff member just get extremely anxious. And I said, well, wait, you know, we actually had, we held an extraordinary staff meeting on Tuesday. She had her anxiety attack on Tuesday morning. I'm like, wait for the staff meeting, but she just wanted to get home. I'm like, that's fine as well. And we've got 1 leaving anyway, a uni student. So, so we lost a few staff over it. We did hold a staff meeting on Tuesday, and about, I called it our welfare plan for customers and our welfare plan for staff, and that went down really well. Our turnover's dropped by probably 50%, but probably not as bad as I thought it would. I from Saturday onwards went into major rostering overhaul for the following week, and actually understaffed. So we've had to boot it back up again. And from what I'm seeing from the customers on Rotto, everyone's just glad to be there. So we're finding that people are really even nicer and happier than they normally are. I think everyone's relieved that there's somewhere where there's toilet paper on the shelves and, you know, a supermarket that has everything in it and nobody's really panicking or going nuts. The only thing I guess I'm worried about long term is that April is our 2nd biggest turnover month. So everybody on the island relies on January and April to get you through the winter. And if they close us down, we've got a bit of a joke on the island, which is awful, but why couldn't it have just waited 6 more weeks? because from May onwards, it's almost it would be almost a bit of a blessing to be closed down anyway, because you just lose money hand over fist being open anyway. But there's a lot going on in the background on Roto. Nobody knows what's going to happen, whether they're going to shut the ferries, whether they're going to there's talk that Roto will be used as an isolation area, which kind of makes sense as well. So in which case they'll need catering. So see what happens there. Yeah, and I think it's just like everyone said, it's just being agile and reacting. And I guess what I'm doing is, I had a meeting with the chefs, and it's like we've decided we're not going to hire any more staff. We're just going to make do with what we have, because we've only really got 5 weeks left in the season anyway. We've already gone to our winter plans, so we're just being very careful with our rostering, very careful with our ordering. Although I've been working evenings this week because I've actually had friends over, and we've just spent the week hiking, swimming and biking, and it's been amazing. So I've been working the evenings, and last night, I came over to Perth last night, but we had 65 people booked to come in for dinner before I even left. So, evenings have still been pretty good. So, yeah, so that's it really from me. So I guess I think we're in an industry where, and unlike Andrew, we're probably in a spot where we're a little bit more vulnerable to the impact on tourism. So it's just a wait and see really, and just seeing whether they do say 100% close down restaurants and bars, which won't be great. But yeah, just do what you can do, and then and the other thing is that maybe there will be some positive impact for the island if people, long term can't travel overseas but just get sick of being in lockdown. So that's what we're hoping for anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk later about May and our visit in May.
Yeah. I mean, what I said to my staff when we had our meeting, I said, look, let's cut through the hysteria and put it all into perspective. You're all young, fit, healthy people, and you're likely to just get a sniffle. But the reason, the government here is I said we live in the most isolated city in the world, and Rottnest Island's a limestone rock, 18 k's off the most isolated city in the world. So you're in the best place you possibly could be. And I also made a commitment to my staff. I said, if we do get coronavirus in the house or on the island, or it all goes to hell in a handbasket on the mainland, when the season finishes, that we will house you. If there is no income from me, obviously I can't pay you other than my salaried staff, but we will house you and give you food. And we will house you until you feel confident to move on. So that made them all happy as well. So,
yeah, well done.
Yeah, so that's it really. Yeah.
So a lot of it comes down to communication and reassuring people. And
yeah, and on Monday we started setting our alarm for every 2 hours, and then front of house and back of house would all get together and we'd wash our hands for 20 seconds, and we'd do 20 squats while we were doing it. And the customers really thought that was interesting. So I think, it's just a fun thing that we do, and the staff really have been enjoying it. I'm like, bounce, even if you get coronavirus, you'll be so damn fit, it'll bounce right off your butt cheeks. So they're all, sometimes you just got to make light of stuff and put it into perspective. For my staff, they're all young, fit and healthy. But like we said, it's all about flattening the curve for the vulnerable in the population, and not getting into an Italy situation.
Yeah. All right, fantastic. That's all good input. I like the idea of, put a little bit of fun into it, but it's fun. It's fun that's useful and demonstrates to customers that you're actually doing something and taking it seriously as well. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. And we have offered social distancing. That's interesting. We have the ability, because we have a big al fresco area, that we're like, you know, if you feel like you want to distance your table and chair from everyone else, we can do that. But no, they're all happy to be jammed in together. I think, if anything, it's on Rottnest, it's like people are even more relaxed than normal. And I think it's that I really didn't want to come back to Perth, but my dad flew to the US last night, and I think I'll go back to Rotto. I'm not even going to go to the shops. I'm like, I don't want to go there. I've got 45 rolls of toilet paper at home because I stock up before summer anyway. And I'm just going to hunker down and enjoy being on the island. And yeah, because it's just such a different vibe over there. I think everyone's just happy to be in the fresh air, and yeah.
Yeah, we'll all come and live over there.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, thanks for that.
No problem.
Okay, like to hear from some other people about what's going on. So anybody want to raise their hand and I'll turn your mic on, or you can probably turn it on yourself actually. All right, then I'm going to volunteer Gary Sudran to have a chat, because I've been thinking about Gary's business. Gary provides, well, I'll let Gary tell you what he does, but it's with home tutoring. And, you know, well, in one sense, I see an opportunity in that if schools start to close or people don't want to send their kids to school, then they would need some help at home. But on the other hand, do they want people coming into their home? So why not help the tutors go online? I mean, there's all sorts of things went through my head. Gary, how do you see it?
Well, yeah, thanks very much, John. Hi, everyone. Well, in general, the year started off extremely well. And for the first couple of months, our gross revenues are up by 25%. But this month, well, more so this week, things have just crashed. People are spending their money on food and stockpiling and forgetting about their children's education, in a sense, to the extremes where some Year 12 students wanted their parents to provide the education, but the parents are running out of money to stockpile all this stuff, and they demanding refunds and things like that, stupid things. So it really has crashed this week, and the prospects are just not there, right? We're doing all the same things to gather our prospects that we normally do, but they're simply not there. Those that are there, they're a lot easier to convert, that's for sure, but there's not enough conversions to keep the business running on the normal 5-day-a-week cycle. So we are going to modify that to a 3-day-a-week. So we're all going to take a small reduction in our incomes so that we can keep things going. From the teacher perspective, in our business, as you know, John, they get paid by the client rather than by ourselves. We're leaving that to the teacher and the family to decide what they want to do about the home tutoring versus online help. And most of our teachers are geared up for that in one way or another. Even some of the older teachers that are not familiar with Skype and with Zoom, even using FaceTime, for instance, and that seems to be working in the instances where I've heard about quite well for them. So yeah, so they're all adapting to that. Not everybody has converted to online at this stage. Lots of the teachers have been working with their families for long periods of time, you know, some for years, but enough that they know what the family's like, and you know, we're asking the families to just help them with hand washing and helping them in that regard. No touching, but the social distancing with tutoring is the difficult thing, because you've got to get fairly close if you're in the house to work with the child. So they have to work that out themselves and with the family. So that's where we're handling that at this point in time.
Okay.
With the number of calls that I've had from teachers this week, I would imagine that the online tutoring will grow as the weeks go by.
Yeah, but I mean, we haven't had school closures mandated in any state yet, I don't think.
Not as a mandate. Some schools have closed, but some of them are only closed for 24, 48 hours for cleaning and
fumigation, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Where there has been cases of the virus, the school is closed for 24 or 48 hours. Although there are some schools that are closing, and most of them are preparing for online classes, which wouldn't necessarily be to our advantage, but I mean, that's not the concern at this point.
No, okay. And I mean, the people that are paying for tutoring are obviously not confident that the children are getting everything from the school education system anyway. So, I mean, Andrew's point about, you know, communicating and letting your customers know what you're doing, I think with newsletters now, oh, that's a pity that Carmen's not on the, no, she's not in the meeting. Carmen's a new member who joined up this week for Joondalup. And Carmen and her husband do writing, basically produce content for blogs, newsletters, videos, articles, all sorts of things. They're both journalists by training. And they've got a business called Red Platypus Creative.com is the domain name. And you know, I think there's an opportunity for them now, because I think businesses need to stay in more, communicate more, but it needs to be good content and well-written content, and that's what these guys offer. So, and I know she's pregnant at the moment. I had a meeting with her on, when was it? Tuesday. We had the group meeting on Monday, met with her on Tuesday, and her and David joined up. And yeah, so, but I know she wasn't very well last night, so she wasn't sure if she'd make it on the call.
We currently have a regular monthly newsletter, which Peter's team, Peter Butler's out for me. And Peter, if you don't mind, I need to talk to you about that, about the content of the next one. So I'll come back to you separately about that.
Yeah, I think a good strategy with communication right at the moment is, how can you help your clients get through this, and how can you help them make money and stay in business? Obviously, it's a double whammy, because it helps you as well. But you know, if you can give some suggestions to them. Anyway, move on. Otherwise, we'll run out of time. So
just on that, how can we help? That was a major focus of our survey. So
yeah,
so people could feel a bit of love. So, and that took half an hour to smash out and get out. So do stuff that's quick and easy to do is my encouragement.
So was that an email or an online survey?
I just did it used a tool called SurveyMonkey, and then we posted it via Instagram and Facebook as a link, and you can email it out as well. embed it into your website, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, yes, and yes.
Okay, yeah, good one. And your, I don't know who else saw it, but Andrew put out a nice little blog yesterday, which will be reposted on most of my social media sometime yesterday or today, because I set it up in Buffer, which is a little app where you can put your social media into. There's a few of them, and Peter, or you can talk to me, we'll give you some ideas, or Andrew, do you use something like Buffer or Hootsuite or for your social media?
For the cafe, we're using a platform called Later, Later. So you can do Facebook posts and Instagram with that, which is where most of our people are.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty handy.
We use two tools. Promo Republic is one, because it'll actually post out to Facebook, business page, groups, but it'll actually post out to your LinkedIn. It'll actually post out to your Google My Business. So it'll go across all your platforms. You know, and there's a lot of social media marketing, you know, people that say, oh, make your post unique for each one. And that may be applicable to Instagram because of, you know, the graphical elements, but the majority of your content can be posted across to most platforms. A bit of dramatisation there from social media people. So Promo Republic's that tool, and then there's a couple of others we use as well.
Do you want to just put that in the chat box so that we've got a record of it?
Yep.
So, yeah, if anybody's got any recommendations or anything like that, stick it in the chat box, and then.
Yeah, it's funny with Promo Republic because one of the tools there, you know the inspirational sayings and that, they've actually got a library of a couple hundred of those, and I've never really been a fan of them, but it's the same with all our marketing. You know, what we're a fan of doesn't mean to say that our audience or our target market isn't a fan of.
Yeah.
And so I use those, and we've got to be really careful when we're making marketing decisions. You know, I'm going to talk to people that don't want to do email marketing because I don't like getting spam. It's like, well, don't spam people then. Send out good content. You know, it's not hard. And if people unsubscribe or don't want it, well, that's okay because they're not your ideal target market. You know, it's just like, you know, you testify to that, Andrew. You're a savvy marketer. You can unmute too, Andrew, and talk. I don't have to hold a stage of my own. But yeah, so, you know, I mean, that's what I'd say about your marketing. You know, just get proactive. You know, we're certainly have been more active, and starting next week, we're going to be a lot more proactive. I launched my 100 Days to World Domination series, which is actually 100 posts and social media snippets, whatever, which is a freaking epic job, by the way. I did the launch, but then I had a personal issue I had to deal with, which distracted me for a couple of weeks. John knows about it. But so anyway, so that's now been resolved and we're moving forward. So starting next week, we're going to be able to launch that, but certainly be proactive. But getting back to Promo Republic, my thing there was that I make these inspirational posts and I have it all automated and queued, and I don't even know half of them. I did select them months ago. It's all automated. And some of the likes and shares and stuff that I get is actually really quite surprising. It's like, oh, people are into that stuff. So go figure.
Okay. So yeah, oh, you put it in. Okay, well done. So it's in the chat box for anybody that wants to check that out. The other thing about Red Platypus, just finished telling you about them. They spent a period of time being nomads. So they set up their business so that they could operate from anywhere, and went off, basically touring around Australia. Now they've got one young child at the moment, and in the process of having another one. So they've sort of settled down and decided to stay put for a little while, but they're very used to working remotely. And David, he put out a blog post which I recirculated on my social media as well this week about tips for working remotely, which was really good because they've done it. You know, that's how they lived and worked. So there's a lot of good information out there, and any of you, I mean, if you've got like Andrew's and blog posts and things like that, if it's a good one, I'll repost it on all my social media, and if we all do that for each other, then we can all get a lot more mileage out of, you know, the stuff that we're putting out. So share it, share the love. All right, let's, anyone want to volunteer? We'll do one more and then we'll have a bit of a break. Nick, so you can unmute yourself, Nick. Or
sorry, yep, all good.
Yep.
I've had some technical issues because I had a new phone and it wasn't playing ball, so I had to switch back to my dodgy camera on my laptop. Okay, so this week's been obviously a little bit turbulent, mainly for the Mrs. Karate business. I've still got inspections coming through, which is nice. Although I'm expecting those to dry up potentially in the next couple of weeks as obviously home opens and things get affected. But right now, the main focus is the Mrs. dropped probably about 15% of her student base already. So we were training 6 days a week. From next Monday will be our last one at the current location. We're actually going to take that to online. So we're using it as an opportunity, I suppose, to flex with what we're doing. So we'll actually base the class online and do it from my office here. So she'll run the class like normal to Facebook Live and Zoom. So I'm just trying to work out the logistics of executing that at the moment. So we got a Bluetooth lav mic for her to be able to continue the classes. And so we'll actually start trialing that next week to make sure we iron out the bugs for it. And then potentially we're looking at, if these kids are all going to be staying home anyway, is potentially break up the boredom. So we've just started putting together a little outline for base units. So just the real basic stuff to get started. And Sonia will start filming those next week as well to add to the content. Because our goal is the people that are actually going on hold, it's hitting us to the tune probably already about $500 a week. So it's a pretty big hit. So what we want to do is try and halve that. So those that don't want to come to class, we want to actually halve their fees. And then whatever period they're on half now, when we go to full-time classes, we'll continue that half fees for the same amount of period up to 3 months. So that way it spreads our cash flow out. They get the same cost benefit ultimately anyway, but it just means we might be able to keep the lights on for longer. So,
yeah.
And if we can actually get this online thing to work efficiently, I'll actually be running Facebook ads and promotions based off the back of that as well, because ads are about they're about 30 to 50% off at the moment, because a lot of your competition are switching off their ads. And so now's the time to sort of, if you've got any spare funds available, is to be maintaining that sort of promotion. Inspections I'm expecting to dry up. Hopefully pest control, though, as people get stuck in their houses, will keep ticking along, and we carry a fair amount of PPE anyway. So I may pivot my inspection ads to reinforce my pest control as well. So I've got to catch up with my Google Ads bloke later today. And that's pretty much what we're doing at the moment as far as bunkering down.
Yeah, some interesting strategies. I was wondering when you started speaking how on earth you could keep karate training going, but live streaming. What a fantastic idea.
Yeah, so we're trying to keep that value there. So we'll do some base units that got some extra stuff, but we still want to keep that class contact. So for our members, there'll be Zoom available. We're going to basically run 2 phones. So Zoom, so that way Sonia can actually potentially see her students as well. And that's just trying to make it more natural for her, because every time I point a camera at her, she freezes up. So if she can see her students, it'll make it a bit easier for her to engage. But also then Facebook Live, so those that even if they're not our immediate paying students, will hopefully start building some credibility and some volume and start inviting people into our groups. And off the back of it, potentially be able to bounce back a bit, you know?
Yeah. So Jody, you have got some clients in that sort of game as well. Can you turn your mic on, please? Anybody can you can turn your mics on. It's just better to keep them off when you're not talking, so we put out the background.
I've already spoken to quite a few of my clients. Some of them were a bit more proactive than what I was, and they're doing classes like we're doing with Zoom, but they're doing similar classes, small classes with their clients. And some of my yoga instructor clients are providing webinars that you can log in, at a later time and do the yoga class. But they're trying to make group, like everyone's still in a group sort of thing, especially for the ones that do kids stuff, the kids like to see other kids. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. I've had lots of clients ring and ask and just double check, is it okay if I do online classes? And I've probably got 6 that are converting to online classes.
Cool. So
I'd be interested to know the other platforms people are using too, because that's been the biggest challenge. But I managed to get, if anyone's looking for microphones, you've got to go to the DJ shop at the moment. All the camera stores are out of gear because there's a whole bunch of yoga and all sorts of other fitness guys going straight to online at the moment.
I'll ask around and see if I can find out what program they're using.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, hang on, I'll show you. We've got a Rode Lav Go and a headset because Sonia jumps around a lot, obviously with her classes. But a lot of the guys like the yoga, when you're moving slower, the Rode Lav Go will actually do the job they need. It's about $280, which isn't cheap, but its nearest competitor is about $600. So, but DJ store in Cannington had like 20 on the shelf when I was there yesterday, whereas my normal camera store were cleaned out.
I think it's good because if you don't retain your client base, people will go somewhere else, and then you're going to work twice as hard to get them back.
Yeah, very true. It's on the IT front. In fact, it was Carmen on Tuesday said she'd been into Officeworks and the queue of people buying up laptops and computers and all that stuff was amazing. And I know an IT business in Mount Hawthorn, they were promoting. They started off promoting, get your gear now sort of thing, and then within a couple of days it was like, well, we're almost out of stock. You need to contact us quickly if you want anything. So yeah, it's interesting how some businesses, at least in the short term, will get a bit of a gain from it. Sadly, it won't last forever, I suspect. Okay, thanks, guys. We'll take one more, then we'll have a bit of a break. Frank, tell us how life is in the carpet cleaning world. You're going into people's homes and stuff. What's been going on?
My apologies for going sideways. I had to put my phone on charge if I sit like this. So, look, at the moment, we personally haven't had too much of an impact of it. I know, speaking to another couple of guys around the industry, they've started getting a few cancellations here and there, but there's been nothing untoward at the moment. And I think maybe because of the fact that we are, I guess, to a certain degree, health related, because cleaning is not just about the visual aspect; it's about the health as well of your property, indoor air quality. So people haven't really backed off yet. I was actually talking to the girls in the NE Solutions who handle my admin stuff, and they said the phones were maybe a touch quieter this week, but nothing particularly major. And certainly we haven't had any cancellations as a result. So at the moment, it's business as usual, but I'm going to be obviously ramping up my marketing to try and cushion any blow that does happen. Because things have been going along so well this year after the relatively dry spell that it's a shame to lose that, and I'd rather have a bit of money in the bank than not. So yeah, I'm just going to try and ramp up that marketing. That thing that Peter just told us about before, that Promo Republic. That's the first time I've heard one that can actually use LinkedIn at the same time, and I was just actually starting a bit of a campaign as of last week when it came to all those the social media platforms. So to find one now that can do LinkedIn as well, hey mate, that's a fantastic suggestion. Really, thanks you for that, because I've already got it up my screen, had it up my screen before you put the link up, and just going to be having a look through that to see how that can benefit us as well. So yeah, things aren't too gloomy yet. I see that things are going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be that people aren't going to trust you to come into their homes.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be paranoid, or it's going to be the flip side. People want to get their houses cleaned, and well, I'm not going to say it's disinfected because you can't say disinfected. We can claim sanitisation. There's two different terms. Disinfections mean that there's nothing left, and we can sanitise, but we can't disinfect. And we certainly can't claim that we can sanitise even against the coronavirus because we don't know yet. The testing's just not there. But the best thing you can do is to have a clean home, because if it's a clean home, then you've got less chance of things lying around the place that are going to do you harm. But by the same token, even if we got a complete sterilisation of a property, it's only that way until the next person walks into the place. So it's a bit of a hard one to call on that one. So it just depends on how paranoid people get. Which paranoia is obviously out there at the moment with all this stupid shit that's going on at the current time.
Yeah, because paranoia is an interesting word. I've got two sons who I claim are paranoid about cybersecurity, but they both work in IT. Yeah. One of them works for Northrop Grumman, the American drone manufacturer, and he won't tell me what he does. And when I asked him if he was going to be working from home, because they both work in Canberra, live in New South Wales, but work in Canberra. When I said to him, I said, so you're going to be working from home now? He said, no, I can't. He said, we're not allowed to take anything out of the building because all the stuff he's working on secret. It's classified. They can't take anything out or work on their own computers or stuff like that. So, so that was interesting. And Carl, well, yeah, he works for Fujitsu, slightly different, but a similar sort of scenario. But I accuse them of being paranoid over, they won't go on social media. They keep, never put your fingerprint into your phone as a way of signing on, because the minute you put your fingerprint in there, it goes straight off to the CIA, the FBI, because it goes straight to America, because it's either an Android or an iPhone or something like that. And same with face, never use your face or your iris for logging into or opening up your phone and things like that, because you're basically giving it to the Yanks, and they just. So anyway, I accuse them of being paranoid, but their response is always, "It's not."
I'm going to go. See you later.
Okay, Stephen. Yep. We'll see you again soon. Have a good trip back. Stay safe.
Thank you. There's no cases of the virus up here, by the way.
Oh, in Mount Isa?
It's good.
Stay there.
Yeah, I know. See you later. Bye.
Right, see you, guy. See you, Stephen. Yeah. Yeah, so their response is always the same. It's not paranoia if the threat is real. So, when is it paranoia and when is it justified? That's the fine line, I guess. So let's just, Jody, where are you? Oh, you've moved because Stephen's gone. Just tell us a little bit about the insurance situation with the virus and some of the things that people are likely to be claiming for.
I can't claim for much.
No.
No, there's so it's very rare to find an insurance policy that doesn't have an exclusion for anything that's listed under the Quarantine Act or the Biosecurities Act, and that's been in place probably since SARS, really, because a few got hit back then. The larger corporations might have the cover, but your standard SMEs like us will struggle. Loss of rent through commercial property rental income or domestic income, there's an opportunity to claim only if your tenant defaults. So you're claiming because of the tenant default, not because of the situation that we're in. But what we're doing at the moment is we're contacting as many clients as we can who we think are going to be affected straight away, like your restaurants, your cafes, sporting clubs, etc., and just seeing how much their turnover is reduced and trying to reduce, in some instances, the premiums based on the turnover. So if people are losing 50% turnover and having to reduce some of their staff, we're trying to reduce that turnover on their insurance policy and also reduce the cost of their premiums down just to keep them going. There's big worries out there about, you know, employee safety, what happens if they contract the virus at work, and you know, some employees are not wanting to go on site and work in certain instances because they're concerned, and in which case then that client's got a stress claim if they're not careful through workers' comp. So yeah, it can spiral very quickly, but at the moment it's just wait and see.
What about salary continuance and things like that?
I don't sell income protection very much, but I'm on the belief, I just had another webinar yesterday with Women's Network Australia, and there was a financial advisor there who said that income protection policies will pay for stress claims. So yeah, regardless whether it's at work or not. So I believe that's claimable, but I'd hate to go through the process because it'll be stressful to go through the process to make a stress claim.
Yeah. And I've seen some interesting information about if businesses ask their employees to work from home, the business has a responsibility to make sure that their homes are safe. Correct.
If you're approving your workers to work from home and they're, you know, maybe their desk is not ergonomic, or there's some other issue there where they hurt themselves and you're exposed to that workers' comp claim. Also, data security is a massive thing. I mean, my girls, majority of them are able to work from home anyway, but I've got a couple of new staff which I now need to quickly assess their security on their computer systems before they log into our RDP, just to make sure, because yeah, I mean, this is the whole thing as well. You know, there's all kinds of stuff out there now about coronavirus and click on this link sort of thing. Right. Peter would know all about that.
And then they end up with another virus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Okay, we're coming up. We've been going for about an hour, so I want to have a quick break and get a coffee, and let everybody do the same, and then we'll get Derek to do his spotlight. I'll bring up the Padlet so you can all work on that. If you open it up on your computer, your tablet and stuff, and let's see what ideas we can come up for Derek. And then when we've done that, we'll open it up for anybody else who wants to give us an update. And it would be good to hear from Darcy a bit more about his business and his business plans, being being new to the group and also being a relatively new branch of an existing business, really. Is that okay, Darcy?
Do you want to hear now? Sorry, was it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you okay to do that?
What now?
No, we're going to have a break.
Afterwards.
We're going to have a 5 minute, go and get a coffee and fluid adjustment break, and then we'll come back. We'll hear from Derek and give Derek a bit of help. And then if you want to give us a bit of an update, that would be terrific as well.
No problem.
All right.
Cool.
All right, guys. So that's let's have a 5 minute break, 7 minute break. All right, 9:42. Get a coffee, fluid adjustment, and then we'll put Derek on and learn a bit more about Derek's business and see if we can give him some help. So I'll stop the recording. I will pause the recording. Recording on again.
Why are you nervous, Derek? We're mostly normal apart from John.
No, it's just a group thing. I'm just not used to the public speaking, really. So
yeah, we're not public. We're your group.
We're mostly hidden from the public, Derek, so we're good.
Yeah. I'm mostly just looking at a wall all day, really.
It changes colour. That's about as exciting as it gets.
Just turn around and face the wall while you present, mate. You'll be sweet.
Put a roller in the under before.
Kiss used to do that when they played at concerts, so you can do it.
Yeah.
So I will turn people's mics off apart from Derek, and let Derek give us a bit of background to his business and what makes him different to any other painters, which was USPs was the topic I was going to cover in the education part of it anyway today. But have a think about Derek's situation, and then Derek will present or ask us for some help in different areas. So, Derek, tell your story, please. You have the floor.
I'll keep this short and sweet, but yeah, I've just got to sort of read this out. I'm not very good sort of on the spot, so yeah. But yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about me. My name's Derek from Painting Solutions. We are painters and decorators, currently a team of 2, but looking to expand our business. We carry out high quality residential repaints in the Perth area, and all our work is of the highest quality, using premium paints and equipment to carry out our projects. We carry out all types of painting work inside and out, and we have various scaffolding and spray painting equipment to carry out our projects. We also specialise in wallpaper hanging, as I've had many years' experience in the UK. Dulux have colour consultants that can assist in colour selection for all types of projects. We can arrange this for our clients as well. We are fully registered with the Building Commission and fully insured. Health and safety is also important to us and our clients. We have safety documents in place. I've been in the painting industry for over 30 years and done all types of painting work here in Perth, also in the UK. We've done mainly private homes, but also done hotels, pubs, restaurants, leisure facilities, a 10-bedroom mansion, and even a bus shelter. I did my apprenticeship in the UK a long time ago now. My boss at the time was very strict, but taught me well. He was all about quality, not quantity. Attention to detail is one thing I still do. My key strengths are the quality of services I provide, maintaining professional accreditation through Dulux, and the standard of staff we employ. We are Dulux accredited, so why choose us? We provide assurance of a quality job and customer satisfaction. We are professional, are certified by Dulux, and can offer a 5-year workmanship warranty. As a Dulux accredited painter, we sign and agree to a charter of values set by Dulux, which are integrity, client satisfaction, excellence, sustainable solutions, and adhere to health and safety legislation. These measures, along with a strict selection criteria, gives our clients confidence that we complete a quality job, delivered in a professional manner from quotation, specification to application. Our target market are couples over 30 years old, with or without children, whom are both working with a household income of over 100k and have residual income, and are time poor to carry out their own painting projects, and also live in affluent suburbs. Our current marketing, we've got a website, a Facebook page and Instagram, not really a big poster, so I may need a bit of help with that. Also a paid advert with yellow pages online. I do have vehicle signage and use an A-frame sign that we put out on jobs. Most of our work comes from referrals or repeat clients. Our 5-year plan is to grow and develop my business enough for me to step back from the tools so I can work on the business rather than in it. Employ 8 to 10 more staff, including a supervisor and admin staff, and have a fleet of vehicles for staff. Also have a work depot for materials and equipment, including an office area. And keep offering staff incentives if goals are met. So to the group, what are your pain points when employing a painter? We know the main ones, which would be, is a painter going to be trustworthy and reliable? So we always arrive on time, let the clients know if we are running late, start and finish at set times of the day, and keep clients informed of the progress and going to plan. We make sure clients are happy with everything, and we clean upon completion, and yes, we bring our own vac. I'm open to any recommendations on this, also with marketing plans or putting systems into place. I've got a few tools that I use on site, one of them being a moisture meter. This is one thing I need to check for painting, because if there's too much moisture in the wall, the paint will peel off. So that's the last thing I want, really. So as you can see, it's just going up there with the percentage. What's that? 34%. And but the painting level has got to be 12% or less before paint can be applied. This is mainly done for white set areas in new builds, just to make sure that before we apply the pigmented sealer, that the wall's got to be 12% or less. And another device, if I'm doing repaints for rental properties where don't know the colour of the place, I've got a thing called a Dulux Snapshot, which is a colour scanner which I can take with me. It's only a little device like this. It's app based, so if I just undo the thing there, wait on a minute, get the right way around. That's the little camera there. I put that up against the wall and take a scan of it, and it sends the nearest colour from a Dulux colour card to the app on my phone, and then we just select the colour from there. So that certainly helps. And my previous tool for that was basically was to pull up against the wall and see if I can get a good match on it. So that gets me out of trouble for sure. So yeah, and I've every time I go and see a customer, I've got a brochure that I'll leave with them. It's one that I made up not too long ago, and I'll leave them with that. Just tells them a little bit more about me. And I've also got the Dulux accredited flyer as well, which I always leave with clients just to sort of give them a little bit more information, and they can go online and check a little bit more about the Dulux accredited, because there's not that many painters that are involved in the program. Out of the 10,000 registered painters in Perth, there's only less than 90 members in total that are involved in it in WA. So it's a really good program to be in. Dulux are excellent at business support, and especially need it at the moment. So yeah, that's pretty much me, really. So any suggestions or any marketing tips at the moment, that'd be appreciated for sure.
Okay, let's start by asking people what they, what you look for in a painter that's coming to your home, things that you like or dislike. So just turn your microphone on and, well, let me go round the people that are on the screen in the order that they're on my screen, and just ask the question. So Gary, you're the first one up. What sort of things do you look for, or what do you list like if you get somebody into paint?
Well, I like to find out where they worked before, and then try and have a look at that job. Like the last job I had done was roof painting, which I know Derek doesn't do, but how I got the guy that did my job, and I'm very, very happy with it, was I saw him in the neighbourhood and looked at his job, and then went and had a talk to him. So I like to see what they've done.
Okay. Yeah, the last guy we got, I think, by referral. A bit of a story around that I won't go into, and the guy's sadly deceased now. He had a fall while he was doing some work about 6 months after he finished our job. But Samantha, what sort of things do you look for? You need to turn your mic on, Sam.
Yeah, I've had some painting done here at this house and also on the island, and I guess like the white elephant in the room is always price, and I guess the workmanship guarantee would be, to me, a positive. And the colour scanner, I think, is pretty amazing because you've always, I guess one thing that you want from a painter is to know that if you need to do some patchwork, that it can be easily done without having to repaint the whole wall again. Yeah, that's probably it from me. But I'd be asking Derek if he's thought about commercial work, because I think that's where the money is myself. But
okay, we'll put that to Derek in a little while. Let's just go around quickly so we can get everybody's thoughts. Helen, you need to turn your mic on, Helen, or I'll turn it on. Okay, Helen, you're on. No, you're not. Can't find you. Helen?
There you go.
That's it.
I did it. I can't believe it. I'm not used to this, so hello everyone.
All right.
I just get on the phone to everyone actually. Yeah, what I look for is quality of work and referrals from other people. And I listen to word of mouth. If I hear from someone else that I know that there's good quality workmanship and the price is equal to that, that's what I go by.
Okay, cool. Franco? Microphone, we need to hear, sorry. Yep. Franco, we're not hearing you.
Okay, is that any better?
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so now you're saying you've been going for a few years and you've got a bit of a database happening. So one of the best ways to get customers is to work your database, and just asking for referrals from your database and give them some sort of incentive to go with it, even if it's something as simple as a scratchy. That's a what's in it for me scenario, that you can gain a few extra customers by simply getting in there and talking to the people who have used you in the past and been happy and saying, would you like to refer me to someone else? There's no harm in asking. And you'd be surprised at how many people will actually take the offer up, whether it be a discount on a future job or some sort of other little incentive. It doesn't need to be particularly large, but certainly talking to people that you've worked with in the past is one of the best and cheapest ways to do your marketing.
What do you look for when you're hiring a painter?
When I'm hiring a painter, okay, so it's painters are one of the bugbears of my life. Okay, because I can almost guarantee if someone books a job that they're telling me they're having the house painted first, I always tell them, don't book until you're ready to book, because invariably they run over time. So unreliability is a biggest issue. So if I'm going to have someone, I'm going to make sure that they are going to be reliable and they're trustworthy. Police clearances, things like that as well, are also a good thing because you're in people's homes after all. But certainly is that trustworthy aspect of it. I'm not so focused on price. I mean, price does come into it, obviously, but you know what? Sometimes you get people who are just ridiculously overpriced or ridiculously underpriced. So you've got to make sure you're in that happy medium. And if you're using the digital marketing platforms to be able to get people to spruik for you as well, which is a really powerful thing too. I know I've discussed with you, John, about what we do with our little BNI group, with what we've done online on Facebook, and that's worked magnificently for us.
Yeah, that's good work.
It's trying to be able to build that trust factor is one of the biggest things, because painters, honestly, they're probably one of the worst breeds around the place. The painters and removalists are two things that I hate hearing those words when it's mentioned in a job before I get there. So price is part of it.
You say what you really think.
I could be a little bit more colourful with my language, especially after yesterday when we got held up 2 hours by one particular removalist. It was supposed to finish 2 hours before I got there.
All right, Franco, that's all good input. Let's keep going and get something from Nick. Nick, we just need to hear you.
Yeah, I know. I clicked off the page because I was writing in the Padlet. Okay, so I'm a little less pointed about painters than what Franco is, I guess. Being in the building industry and having a lot of experience, the biggest thing we look for is reputation, showing up when you say you will, finishing the job when you say you will, cleaning up after yourself. They're the big three, I suppose. Again, doing a quote and sticking to quotes, always, we used to rate anyway for a lot of our work. So if they're happy with our rates, it's fine. It's the extras and the surprises at the end that I've never been a big fan of. So as long as that's communicated, or at the end of the day, just rolled in the swings and roundabouts type principle, always did all right by us. Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Supervisors and things, we'd always look for referrals from either other trades or evidence of previous work. So pictures of previous work, I suppose, which is where your social media is going to come into play. If you're doing befores and afters and things like that, at least people can see the previous work without having to go and speak to one of your previous clients, I guess.
Yeah, before and afters on Instagram seem to work for a lot of businesses, actually, where it's very visual. So, all right, fantastic. Everybody, I've put the link to Derek's website, but also to the Padlet. You can click on that and just go in and bash stuff in. Just put the ideas in as you think of them while we're going around. That'd be great. So Darcy, you probably haven't hired too many painters. You're too young.
No, I haven't. I've worked side by side with a few of them, and I just made sure they weren't Polish, and that was it pretty much.
That was in the air conditioning world, yeah?
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I do have a few friends that are painters, but I would probably look at just the presentation, how they hold themselves when they come to your house to do the quote, how professional they are. I'd also look at, previous jobs I've done. I probably wouldn't use social media, like Instagram or Facebook. I'd probably use Google, so potential Google Ads campaign would be good. Just because if you're looking at the age group above 30 years old, I think a lot of people, especially domestic work, could be Googling, local painters in the area. And I guess if you had a sponsored ad, you'd be the first one to come up. And I think if you had all your work on that, that's probably what I'd say to maybe have a look at. But I obviously haven't hired a painter in the past, but
all right, future, when you do, you know where Derek is now.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, Darcy, thanks. Peter Butler.
Well, the first thought for me when you ask the question, what do you look for, is how long the work's going to last, the quality of the work. So, how you're going to showcase that is, there's different ways you can do that. But that was the first thought that came to mind. And I'm very much a DIY. However, when I built did this extension, we added 300 square metres to our house. I actually hired a guy to put in the coating that goes on the plaster, and he did a friggin' atrocious job. I wanted to hit him with something, because there was the actual roller marks, and it wasn't apparent until after it dried. So, quality of work is an issue. So you've got to be able to showcase that. But, one of the things I just had a quick look at your website. Clearly that's what I do. But, you've got some nice photos down the bottom, but, like just showcasing your work online. I mean, chances are 70% of your work, 80% of your work is going to come from referrals. That's all very well and good. But this is where most people have a disconnect online, is even though it's 70, 80%, they're going to go online to do their due diligence. They're going to talk to you, but they're still going to check you out. So if you're not leveraging online, you know, by showcasing your work, you got some pretty schmick photos that are down the bottom that are hidden away, you know, so they're sort of quite simple, easy things to change. It just makes you, you know, the definitive go-to guy, if that makes sense. And I don't know if I don't know how competitive, Darcy, the Google AdWords space would be, but again, any industry that has a visual component, leveraging online is actually can be really cost effective, you know, really simple, you know, like Franco can do before and after photos of, you know, carpet jobs and all of those visual aspects. Generally the social media space can be really cost effective to do, and you can do really targeted marketing, whereas AdWords can be really broad. But again, I've not done the homework on that industry.
It's all right. The question was, what do you look for in a painter when you're hiring one?
Oh, right.
But
quality of work and
quality,
testimonials long term.
All right. Let's hear from Jody, because Jody's had some smoke damage recently, I think.
Me?
Jody, yeah.
No, I haven't had any smoke damage.
Not from the bushfires?
Oh, no, I was very lucky.
Okay.
But yes, lots of ash. But I have just recently done I own a builder extension and brought in my own painters. They were actually local guys from Yanchep, who I think when I first rang here, I just randomly rang out of the local rag or something like that. But the guy who turned up was really nice and pleasant, turned up on time and did a little bit of work for me. And then when I got them back to do my renovation side of things, he brought his mate with him. And yeah, no offence, but he's just a whinging, smoking pom. And all he did was complain about his ex-wife and smoke cigarettes and throw the cigarette butts in my gutter, because it was a second story extension, which really peeved me off. But the guy who ran the business was really good. Like he was in, me being a girl, couldn't make a decision on a colour. So he's helped me with colours and helped me with what selection of paint. He's come in and had a look at my house. And I have recommended him to a few of my clients. Hopefully he goes on his own, doesn't bring the other guy with him. So, you know, there's two sides of the story.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes, I can understand both sides. But, I mean, why do people behave like that when they go on site? I was talking to a landscaping business and they use subbies and that, but, you know, they are very, very strict on how they present to the client and that they don't do all those sort of things that you were talking about. You know, it's just, anyway, thank you, Jody. Andrew, likes and dislikes about hiring painters?
So what I look for, we've done a few renos here and one of our rental properties. So we're probably more likely to use somebody who's working with our builder. We've got a good relationship with our builder, so it's probably trust by extension, as in if he would recommend and rely on them, then that's good for us. So that's probably what we go with as much as anything. And surprisingly for me, attention to detail, which is not one of my strengths, but in a painter, it's pretty good.
Attention to detail. So that's part, I guess that comes down to quality as well, isn't it? Getting that
yeah, for sure.
Quality job done. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Michelle.
Okay, I would say Facebook and Instagram would probably where I would look first. I like before and after shots. I like to see what they're doing. I like to see pictures of that person actually on the job, what they're doing, whether they're serious or a little bit, you know, light-hearted. I want to know that you are doing the painting, and like they're just saying, like not some offsiders coming along and doing it. And my biggest thing I look for is I want somebody who's got a good reputation for cleaning up after themselves. Because again, the wife makes a lot of the decisions, and if you can sit there and tell the wife that we have a vacuum cleaner, we are going to wipe down the walls, we are going to do this, this and this, that's one less thing you've got to do afterwards. So that would be the big winner for me.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
So in our house, the wife makes all the decisions.
And in this one.
Okay, Steve, a very relaxed looking Steve, who should be in Bali, by the way.
Pardon?
Who was supposed to be in Bali today.
Yes, I am supposed to be in Bali today. No, probably recommendations would be what I'll be looking for, and costs as well for me would be quite important. Maybe someone locally as well, because I'll be thinking the travel time is going to come into the cost. So I think a local painter, probably look on Facebook community groups for someone local as well.
Okay. And when they turn up and they're working and doing the job, what are the sort of things you like or dislike?
Well, timekeeping is very, very important. Cleaning up after themselves, yeah. Boy.
Yeah.
Really?
That's right, I'm doing a refresh of a screen, so cutting out a little bit. Yeah, the timekeeping one is, for us, is one of our primary ones. I was telling Derek yesterday or the day before when we were talking about this session, we had a painter who was fantastic as far as the quality went. He was an ex-builder, so he was fantastic at finding things around the place that we didn't know, like where water was coming in the roof and all sorts of things that he fixed up. But his timekeeping was absolutely atrocious. You never knew when he was going to turn up. He never turned up when he said he was going to. And and you never knew what time he was going to leave either. There was times when we felt he was living with us. But poor guy, I say he's deceased now because he had a fall and killed himself. But the quality of his work was fantastic. So I guess in our case that got him through. But all right, so some suggestions. There's a few things been going up on the Padlet. If you can bring the Padlet up and put ideas in, and now some suggestions for Derek on things that he should be doing to get more business on the marketing side, lead side, and anybody can talk, okay? Just don't all talk at once.
I put some stuff up on Padlet, but yeah, I personally don't know why you wouldn't be looking at doing commercial work, because, you know, if you aligned yourself with perhaps a shop fitter, especially with wallpapering, because, you know, I don't know, that to me that's a massive point of difference for yourself, because as far as I know, wallpapering around the 70s, but it's making a comeback again with you know, renovation shows and people just trying to do something that's just that little bit different. But you know, a lot of businesses use wallpapering, and you know, there's a lot of small businesses that as well that do shop fitting, or I did put it up on Padlet. You know, maybe aligning yourself with the builder as well, and then you've always got ready, you know, ready work. And I got my painter through my shop fitters and just used him. So, and yeah, he was good and fast. And
okay. Well, yeah. I know Derek will have something to say about that, but we'll let Derek have his right of reply afterwards. We'll get ideas first. So thank you for that. So commercial and wallpapering. All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, I thought I'd chip in a little bit there as well. Was saying before about the whole Facebook thing with local pages. It is a really good idea to get yourself up on there, because Facebook will recognise you if your name keeps popping up, and especially if you start getting people recommending you on there. I know we've been doing that, and over the course of the last 12 months now, we've got to a stage where, once upon a time I would never get anything off Facebook at all, whereas now we're running probably around about 2 to 3 inquiries per day. So that does work. The other thing that was mentioned there as well, the alignment with other businesses. Now, I did that myself, and that has led to one of the biggest contracts that I currently have, which is with a major manufacturer here in Australia that sent me quite a substantial amount of work, not necessarily the carpet cleaning, but in the inspection and assessment side of things, which is elevating my status within the industry as well, which has been absolutely fantastic. And that's been from strategically getting an allegiance with someone who is in that space. And it's worked absolutely brilliantly for me. So that's something else that you could probably want to investigate as well. So yeah, there's a couple of different avenues out there that certainly are available that will help you push your business on that a little bit harder.
Okay.
John, it's Gary. I just have 2 points to speak about. I had never heard about the accreditation program, the Dulux accreditation program, and that would influence me. So I'm not sure, Derek, what you're doing to promote that further or to make people more aware of that, or even how you would do that, but that would certainly influence me. The other point I'd like to talk about is when you've got your prospects, do you know what your conversion rate is of taking those prospects into business? Because that's a significant thing, particularly I would think as an individual. If you're doing all the quoting yourself right now, it would be important to know that number, because, if it's 60, 70%, well, that's extremely good. But if it's only 30%, then you would need to refine and improve your personal approach. So that number's important. And if you are going to get to a position of expanding where you may not be able to do all the quotation yourself, if you know that number now, then when you change your business, you'll be wanting to keep that number at the same level. So it's an important piece of data that could benefit you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gary. Comes back to know your numbers. I'm going to, the whole, I mean, it all starts, these sort of jobs, the same with carpet cleaning, I think, is that, well, getting a tradie in to do anything, it all starts with that first contact, doesn't it? It's the first impressions that you create, whether it be how the telephone's answered, how you appear when you turn up, whether you turn up, turning up on time. It all starts to tick away in people's minds as to whether they're going to go with you or not. There's nothing worse than phoning a tradie to try and get an appointment and you get some horrible, stupid, bloody voicemail message on the phone. It just gives a really, really, to me, bad impression. A quick example, when we moved into this house, we wanted to get an alarm system put in. So I went back to the people that we put the alarm system in when we were in Edgewater. And I also went to RAC because we'd become RAC members and learnt, what good discounts and things you can get through going through RAC. So, and I knew exactly what brand of system and everything we wanted. So anyway, we got asked these two lots of people to come and do a quote. The RAC guy turned up. I think I've told the story before to the group. If I have, I apologise. But the RAC guy turned up. He had a nice shirt on and tie with the logo and everything, and nice pants. He came in with a briefcase. He went around, he explained everything about how exactly he would do it. And then he said, can I use your table? Yes, sure. He sat down and unlocked his briefcase and took out a laptop and a little printer, and he printed out a quote for us on the spot and left it and said, all you need to do to accept the quote is sign here, tick this, this, and this, and away you go. And as for the other guy whose system we'd used before, he put off the appointment a couple of times, and then he turned up late. He was scruffy. He was very can't think of the word. He didn't go around and say, oh yes, I would put a sensor here and I would do this because of whatever. It was just, oh yeah, you need 4 sensors and you need this and need that, and I'll get a quote to you. And then as he left, it was a Friday afternoon, he said, I'm going down the southwest for the weekend. He said, so it'll probably be Monday before you get a quote. I'd already had the RAC quote for a week by this stage. And the quote didn't come on Monday anyway. It was about Wednesday or something of the following week. So by the time I got his quote, the RAC had already got the job. I mean, it's that first impression, and that thing is so important. So Derek, how do you go about doing your quotes? Give us a bit of an idea what happens.
Well, I'll always arrange a site visit within, well, as early as possible, really. As soon as they call, I'll try and arrange it for that day or the day after, whenever's convenient with the client. And I try and get the quotes out within the 24-hour period, and yeah, follow up on that a couple of days later, really, just to make sure that they've got it for one, and yeah, see if they want to proceed or ask any questions.
What sort of format is the quote in?
It's through Xero. I do all my quotes through Xero.
Okay, so it's like a PDF document and typed up?
Yeah, and I can input PDF forms such as the Dulux accredited information and my brochure as well.
Okay. And do you hand deliver the quotes, or do you email them, or?
It's all through email. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think there would
Can
be
I just suggest something there?
value in hand delivering it? Sorry?
Yes, sorry, can I just suggest something in there when it comes to doing those sorts of initial quotes now? I use a ServiceMate system, which I'm pretty sure Nick does as well. And it's great in the fact that it ties in with Xero, but it does all my bookings for me and everything like that as well. But when I actually go in to do a quote, I can get in there, do the quote itself. I'll have it all set out. I can do it just on my phone. I can give the people that quote on the spot digitally. So before I leave the front door, it's sitting in their inbox in their email. So you don't have to go away, get it all set up and try to work it out. I can work it out pretty much on the spot. I don't know if that so much would apply to you, because you might have to do a bit more working out. But we have sort of set prices on things to make that process a little bit simpler, and that way the people have it immediately and they know exactly what they're up for. And I can book them in on the spot as well. If they accept this quote on the spot, it's like, great, set them up and away we go. And it just makes my life so much simpler. Another point I was going to say there as well, when it came to that whole presentation, when that initial contact happens, I found that I was getting inundated with calls, and I was spending between 1 to 2 hours a day on the phone, which is driving me absolutely insane because it couldn't work. And I don't know if that happens with you as well. But for me, it was a real pain point for me. So I started using a VA service, which means that I don't take any calls at all. All gets redirected to them, and they do a fantastic job of it. They can do my quotes online. They can do take my telephone calls. Their phone manner is so much better than mine because I'm always in a hurry, and that sometimes gets reflected, especially if I'm under pressure for time. So having that taken away from me has taken a lot of stress away from me, and I have found that even though it's cost me money to have that service going, it's making me money because they are able to spend the time with the customer to really get the information that they need and make the customer feel happy as well. And 9 times out of 10 for me, and probably for you as well, it's a woman that's calling up, and not to be sexist or anything here, but a woman talking to a woman works a lot better than a woman talking to a man. I have found that makes a huge difference. I watch the email chains and the language that happens in there. It's like, oh my God, I could never do that in a million years. It's just not my style. But that has worked significantly better for me than me trying to do it myself.
And as the business grows, then that becomes more benefit. I think,
exactly. Yeah.
I think Nick uses the same people as yourself, doesn't he?
That's right. Yeah. Just by pure coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, as I say, that first phone call, and if you get somebody that you can talk to that makes sense, rather than some horrible, silly, stupid voicemail message. Anyway, I made my point on that one. Okay, anybody else got anything to input before we get Darcy to give us a bit of a background? So anything else you've got for Derek? Go to the Padlet link.
I have a quick suggestion, John, is if there's anything, Derek, you're doing in your local community that's a feel-good thing, that's always worth putting out there. So either small or large, anything that you're contributing, people that I think often carry some points as well. And will get you some publicity. So that's the other thing. If you're doing community stuff, then it's probably worth putting onto Twitter, even if you don't have a large following, because a lot of media people are on Twitter, and that's where they look for stories. There's a guy called Trump or something on that. You can follow him. Yeah, so any pro stuff like doing that, especially now, people are really looking for people to step up and do stuff for their community. So any little bits like that will get you good mileage.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I was trying to think of some suggestions. I was going to suggest sponsoring sporting clubs and things like that, or teams. But at the moment, not playing sport, are they?
Maybe sponsoring a local art exhibitions, possibly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
anyway, you can leverage off what you're offering makes a lot of sense. That's a good call, Darcy.
Okay. So, Derek, any comments, thoughts, things you're going to take away and do?
Well, I certainly made quite a few notes there of everybody's suggestions. So yeah, appreciate that. Thank you. And so the only thing that we've recently done is we've just got in contact with a builder that's given us potential ongoing work. They've given us a first job in Wanneroo, and they keep throwing quotes out. So we've been well through the build. So yeah, that's a good contact. And any other contact like that would be ideal.
And what about Sam's idea of commercial?
The commercial side of things, then yeah, there's a lot of places closing down where they have to do a paint before they hand back. We could do that sort of thing, but I'd rather do the sort of the quality side of the work. But yeah, any commercial work would be certainly an option, especially at this point in time, because I suppose the emptier the property, the better. So there's less people on site. Yeah, so empty premises would be good.
And I guess wallpapering is not really in your bailiwick, is it?
Wallpaper's not what? Sorry.
I say it's not part of what you offer, is it?
Wallpaper is, yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, I do the wallpaper. Don't do a lot of it at the moment, but did a huge amount back in the UK. But I've still got all the equipment to do it. So yeah, all types of wallpaper is yeah, that's good.
Yeah, yes, I can remember the old days of hanging wallpaper.
Yeah.
Just, all right, I would ask people to go onto that Padlet thing and just bash in any ideas that you can over the next, over the weekend while there's not too much going on, or whenever you think of it. But just before we get on to Darcy, Michelle, you had a spotlight last month.
I did.
And anything you took away from that and used and changed?
Well, everything's changed since then as well, anyway.
Yeah,
so
well, the world's changed, yeah.
the whole world's changed since then. No, I think it was good for my confidence. The following Sunday, I was actually invited to a church group to go and speak to them about finances, and it was really, really good. I think I felt a lot more confident speaking in front of them after speaking on the Friday. Pretty much, like I said, I've taken a lot of it on board. They're asking for referrals is my biggest thing at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much what everybody said. I've obviously now things are going to quieten down a bit, and so I've set aside some time to probably like everybody else, readjust the business, decide how we're going to go moving forwards, and taking some of that information and the feedback and putting that into basically a new 2.0 approach to mortgage broking. So yeah, it was good. It was a big eye opener, and yeah, appreciated it.
Yeah, often the benefit out of these things comes out of getting you to prepare for it and sit down and think about it.
Yep.
So, and Helen, because you're one of the new people in the group, we'll maybe get you to do a little talk to the group next month. And the other thing I think we'll do in April is, because Nick and Franco and Peter, Andrew use social media pretty well. And I know from talking to you individually, use it differently. And I've got some tips and tricks, and it would be good to get, everybody's input into what's worked for them on these different platforms, because you can waste a lot of time trying stuff out, but if we know what's worked for other people and share it, then I think that would be a really good little session to have. Steve Wilkinson as well. We've all done things and we've all had different levels of success. So, but now talking of new members in the group, let's give the floor to Darcy for a few minutes. Explain what's been happening, Darcy, and where you're at with the business and what your plans are.
Well, for the net coolers, unfortunately, the last probably week or so, a lot of things have sort of fallen through. We were about to finalize a marketing campaign for the Northwest, as it was about to come into their season soon. So we're getting in contact with the tourism bodies, and we're going to do a collab with them, and get a whole heap of net coolers printed for promotional use. And that fell through, unfortunately. Well, it hasn't really fallen through yet. I just guess everyone's in limbo at the minute because I don't really know what's going on. We had people who organised Perth Expos. They wanted to use the net coolers, but once again, because of what's happened, they can't use it. We've had some mining companies that were interested, but they've don't have any money for, I guess, these things now. Well, that's what I say. But yeah, we're optimistic. So we started to think quickly. So we've got a whole heap of stock together for Amazon US. Put any money to promotional items or that wasn't much. That going into some of them to think about it. They have some. We'll just spend nothing to have RAC, and so we're just waiting for a rough. I guess they used to have sort of promotional deals they give out. The public, I think, just kind of recently we're into their money a little bit more. So yeah, not really got nothing to do. We must see him for the UK. So by the time we get out, it possibly still not session. And I mean, it's written summer, I can get comfortable. So think about pushing a campaign in the UK, so maybe London and stuff like that, because there's people now that start out indoors now, given like what else? Yeah, that's pretty much been it. Unfortunately, the Northwest thing was kind of fell through a few days ago. We really don't know what to do, because we found a printer, we had all the logos ready to go, and they pretty much said just hold off, because they don't know what's going on.
So, I mean, the UK thing, that's an interesting point, because they're coming into their summer and their warmer weather.
Yeah, that's right. And they're quite, well, most of the places they're built to keep the heat in. So I get, if people are going to be working out indoors, you could just add on in most of the places. So you could only imagine how hot it's going to get. So we're thinking, that only came up the other day, so we're thinking about what we could possibly do with that. But yeah, we have not wasted, but there was a bit of time spent on the Northwest tourism campaign, which obviously fell through. So
well, yeah, it's only fallen through for now.
Yeah, for now, yeah, for sure. But by the time I think everything comes back, the season might have finished, so it might be coming into the wet season by the time.
I guess where the Northern Hemisphere comes in, you've got the benefit of having summer in one or the other.
Yeah, that's right. So,
So if
yeah,
anybody's got any ideas, then now's the time to tell Darcy or think about it.
I think, Darcy mentioned a couple of that collaborative design. Thinking about, is there a way you can encourage clients on the market, not to bloody show. So, and that's what with my kind of sales workshop is vast, but that's much it. So this is why we're going to do it. We gave them a strategy to go online. So it could even be perhaps finding somebody that does marketing, do a quick webinar, offer that as a offering to your clients to say, here's 3 things you could be doing now to amp up marketing.
Yeah.
And messages, of course, selling your product.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to give them some proactivity, get them looking positively, can think about what's coming ahead. And so you get to predict the momentum a bit for them.
Yeah.
So it could be one thing.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, I think we're all a bit we just don't really know how to approach this. But yeah, there will be a kick soon. We just don't obviously so we don't know whether to continue to focus on what to push that aside and possibly start this UK campaign, which I believe could be a bit beneficial. But I guess it's a discussion with everyone.
It's somebody used the term earlier about being agile. I think that's the key word for all of us at the moment.
Yeah, I think we all need to read that book that we all read earlier, The Move My Cheese.
Absolutely.
Somebody's really moving the cheese all over the board right now. So I think we need to revisit, don't be afraid of change. And, one of the things that, everything's a silver lining, and one of the silver linings that might come of this virus is that we all have to sit back and look at other aspects of change that we embrace in our businesses to move forward.
Yeah, well, when things get tight like this, it's always a good time to work on the business and take out some of the inefficiencies and come up with new ideas, be creative.
The other random idea I've got is, I've just had some contact from some colleagues about, one of the ones that are going to be hit pretty soon are gyms. They're going to have to close. So not sure, Darcy, if there's an opportunity to go to some of the bigger gyms to say we can help you with some pros for running at home, classes at home. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but your product is going to be ideal. People would,
100%. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching the market in terms of the Amazon market, and the best sellers for all the at-home gym stuff now. So I think that's a really good idea, because I don't know how gyms are going to cope with this right now too. So unless they collab with a supplier and they come up with their own pack.
Yeah.
But yeah, potentially, getting in contact with I think I forgot what the fitness place is called, but yeah, get in contact with some of the suppliers and maybe doing a collab with them. But yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, for sure.
It could be something like a gym care pack where your product is part of that. You you connect with somebody who does video servicing type stuff, and they can help you with that part. So you can do gym for you at home.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing in the UK is, with that market as well, is the old folks and the people that are most vulnerable from heat generally, but also with this virus going around as well. If people are getting fevers and things, you've got to look after the old folks. I hope to be one day.
We're thinking about you.
So yeah, I don't look forward to getting old, but it's better than the alternative.
That's
So,
the one, Orbit and Flex Fitness. Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
yeah. So even my karate for oldest classes has been put off now. But if they were smart, the Tai Chi, I mean, if they were smart, they'd be doing something like Nick, because I mean, it's pretty easy to do that sort of thing on your own. You don't need to be in the group, but it would be really good to have a live streaming instructor taking you through it.
Yeah, because I know my gym is going to be doing that. I don't know how they're going to do it, because they do jiu-jitsu and stuff, so you almost need someone else to be there. But yeah, I know a lot of martial arts gyms that are taking that on board.
Okay, good stuff. Well done, guys. And anybody got anything else they want to add? We're getting towards closing time. I'd like to wrap up by 11 o'clock, if that's okay. That's 2.5 hours, which is, and I haven't done any of the education stuff because I wanted to get everybody's perspective and ideas on what was going on and see what we could come up with to help each other. I think it's really important to stick together at times like this and do whatever we can do. I will look at my speakers list and get people in. So if there's anybody you can think of that we've had present to the group in the past, you can go to the website johndenton.com.au and have a look under speakers and review people we've had in the past. If you think there's anybody there that you'd like to get on this meeting, so we can do it either on the scheduled meeting time or we can do it as an extra thing, then let me know. Gary and I were on one with Mike House the other day. What did you think of that, Gary?
Yeah, I was impressed with that, and I thought he had some very good ideas. In fact, I liked it indeed, and he has an ongoing program with that for the next 4 or 5 weeks. It's only a half-hour thing, but yes, I was impressed. Particularly with the way he presented things and that simple round chart that he had in the current environment. The 3 things, sort of control, influence, and concern. And the main thing about that is control. Know what you can control yourself and look after that. Influence. Don't influence anybody unless you've really researched the facts, because there's a lot of BS going around. So, do that. And on the other side, on the outer, the third one was concern. Yeah, be concerned for not only yourself but other people in your community.
Yeah. I thought it was very good too. Mike's presented to the group a couple of times. I don't know if people here have seen Mike, but Mike's a survival expert. So he's got a very interesting background, and he runs courses out in the bush for, typically senior executives and, I mean, anybody that wants to go, but that's his market, is the sort of corporate people, and taking them bush and getting them to survive in the bush. And so, yeah, so he started running.
One of the interesting things that he did add, he said that, which is relevant right now with the rush on supermarkets, is that any fit person can survive for 30 days without food.
Yeah. Provided
you go back to proper food after that, but you can survive for that long. I'm not sure that I'd like to try it, but
we could all lose a lot of weight doing that. But yeah, no, that's a good point. And he was talking about, if you when you go out and buy what you need, not what you want necessarily, because yeah, he made another point about if you go to the bush, if you took everything you wanted, you know, you wouldn't be able to carry it all.
Yes.
But if you took just what you needed to survive, then, you know, you could carry it easily. It wouldn't be.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's and I'll send out to the group, if I can make sure my emails are working properly, Peter. Send out to the group a link of his, because he's, as Gary said, he's running these every week on a Wednesday, half-hour little seminars, and he's got Jenny Brockis doing the next one with him. Anybody here heard Jenny speak? She talks on mindfulness and psychology and that sort of thing. No, she's pretty well known around town. She's very, very good. So, and yeah, I'm happy to get some of these people onto this session so that we can get them to present to us as well. So if you've got any ideas who we should get, let me know. We'll get Helen to do, if Helen's in agreement, nod your head if you're in agreement, Helen, to tell us a little bit about your business and some of your challenges and what's going on. So Helen's business is Blockbuster Bookkeeping. What? No, Bookbuster. You tell us, Helen. Just tell us.
Yep.
30 seconds.
Okay. My business is like I do BAS agent services, which include payroll, GST, PAYGI. So currently we're inundated from all our clients for the latest releases from the ATO and the government about the stimulus package, and seeing who it can help and everything like that, and how. The inquiries we're getting about, can we reduce this for that BAS, and it's, you know, so we actually have to follow all that information at the moment, and a lot of reading, and as you're probably all aware, plus calming all the clients down. So basically, because I operate remotely anyway, all over Australia, I've got clients, so it's not a problem me staying home. I prefer it instead of going out somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's about educating. So, yeah, Jody just sent me some information that I'll probably forward to all my clients. So thanks, Jody. About the wages especially. Clients are worried about, do they have to cover their employees? Are they accountable if they get sick and all of this other stuff? So Fair Work have released a fact sheet about that as well. So if anyone wants that information, I'll forward that. But everyone will probably have it anyway. I'm not sure. Fair Work, yep. Any other information that anyone would like that gets to me because I subscribe to Bookkeepers Association, just let me know. So.
Yep, anything like that, Helen and Jody, you can put up on Slack. This raises a question that I've had in my mind, because we've got 3 separate Slack workspaces, one for Joondalup, one for Central, and one for Yanchep. Then if Jody was to put up the information that she sent out by email the other day, it would only go to the people in the Joondalup group. So my question, I guess, is, do we have a workspace that everybody's in, so that when people have got this great stuff that they put out, that it goes to everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
You want time to think about that?
No. No, I think having private groups for each group is good, because then you're respecting confidentiality within the meetings. But I think having a combined group for sharing relative information is fantastic.
Yeah, well, I'll probably do that, because people do, you know, we've all got different things we can contribute. And it's a little bit silly to restrict it to just one group. So,
yep.
All right, so I'll look at doing that. And
it's easy to change between the groups for those who haven't done it. Does everybody understand what John's proposing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes and no. So with Slack, you have a workspace where you can have communal channels where everybody or a number of people can communicate, and you have private channels, which is just purely one-to-one. And then you can put files up and documents up and share them, and they all get there, so you know where to go and find them when you want them. And it cuts out a whole lot of email. Mine don't seem to be working too well at the moment anyway. But so it makes it easier to find things and share things. Because some people have suggested occasionally set up a Facebook group and do it on Facebook, but not everybody's on Facebook, and not everybody wants to be friends with everybody on Facebook. So to me, something like Slack is a better option because it's specifically for the group. You're not having to get onto social media and like people or do all that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's just a better, cleaner, more professional tool to do it this way.
Yeah, and as long as the groups are named clearly, then it's no dramas to switch. I mean, I'm a member of 3 different groups, so I could do screen sharing and show you, but maybe another time.
Yeah. Well, and that's something we can do in between sessions. I'm more than happy to jump on Zoom and I know Peter would be keen to help as well. And Andrew, I've talked to Andrew about, if people want help with going remote and things like that, because Andrew does a fair bit of facilitating. He's used to these tools and group map rather than Padlet. So there's lots of things we can do, and there's lots of skills that we've got that we can share. And so I'm more than happy to set up sessions in between the scheduled meetings. And if you want help with Slack or you want help with Zoom or anything like that, then let me know and we'll do it. All right. And yeah, please make your one-on-one booking times with me. Let's do a bit more than that. I'm happy to spend more time doing some of that work, but let's book it in. If it's booked in, then it'll happen. So, and I know quite a few of you have now done that, so that's fantastic. If we make it the same time every month or every couple of weeks, whatever works for you, then let's do it. Because I suspect we won't be having too many coffees over the next week or two. Well, not together anyway, which is...
Yeah, that's what you should be doing.
I beg your pardon?
I said, that's exactly what you should be doing.
And at Small Slardy, you mean?
Anywhere, get out and get amongst it. Just keep your distance from people you don't want to be. But the last thing we should be doing is staying at friggin' home. No offense, but we need to be out and about and just be smart about what we do.
I'm happy to do that and say Andrew told me to do this.
Exactly. I'm fine with it.
No, I know what you mean. And Cheryl and I went out because Cheryl was supposed to be in Sydney, so she'd got a couple of days holiday booked, and she's agreed with PTA where she's contracting that she can work from home anyway. So she's putting a work from home plan in to them. But yeah, so we were both at home yesterday. We went up to the local coffee shop and we had coffee and we had lunch up there. And A, to get out of the house, and B, to support those guys, because Andrew's quite right. We still need to get out, and as long as we're just not hugging and doing all that sort of thing and shaking hands, we'll be all right.
And there's been some products that have been released just for you, John, actually. Not sure if you've seen this.
What's that?
There's products that have been released just for you.
I can't see it, but what does it say?
Like crap jokes. Love it.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
How come his surname's not there?
Legal reasons.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
It's all right. I was trying to, a little while ago, I was going to try and end with a bit of humour, but Andrew's already done that. So
toilet humour at that.
Well, we've got to keep our sense of humour, and you're right. I've got meetings booked next week to go and have coffee with people. So, and I'm quite happy to catch up with anybody here, because I know everybody will do the right thing, and if they've got any suspicions that they've got something, then I know they'll change that, because I was going to meet up with Darcy yesterday, but he contacted me and said he'd got the sniffles and was staying at home. So as long as we all do that, then it'll be fine.
A suggestion that my daughter actually came up with, or she found on social media, if you can't make it to the coffee clubs or wherever, get vouchers for them. So at least they're getting income. And you can use those vouchers when this all gets cleared up.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. And did I repost it? Yes, I did repost it on social media. RJ's Cafe in Heathridge. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they put out a post this week saying what they're doing now to keep to satisfy their clients. They've now basically gone to just a window only service for serving coffee and food. Not come in and sit down. You can. I think they've got a small outdoor area, and they're doing everything in takeaway cups, and they're providing food in recyclable packaging, and they're not handling cash anymore. They're only doing card payments, and they had a whole list of things that they were doing differently to keep servicing their clients and keep people coming and having coffees. And it was a really, really good initiative. So, you know, hats off to those sort of people. That, yeah, that's the way it's got to be. So anybody got any other comments or suggestions, or book in a time and let's catch up and have a coffee at Smolt's Ladder?
I've got a new idea there for you, Andrew. Cone of silence. I just put it in the chat. Anyway.
Yeah, I noticed it.
Thanks.
Very nice. Yeah, you got to get smart.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Rot Nest in May. Sam, what's your best guess or estimate? I know it's bloody hard at the moment. Do we leave that on the agenda still?
Yeah, I would leave it on the agenda. I mean, we're all talking about on Rot Nest, you know, potentially this could be good for Rot Nest, because as hysteria dies down and people are like, okay, well, you know, we're going to get out and about again, but we can't go overseas. So, you know, hopefully people will look back on their doorstep and come to Rotto. So last week, actually, I had a meeting with my head chef and my manager about us potentially being 7 days a week in winter, and this was before the shit hit the fan. So, but we're going to monitor how April goes and potentially still do that. But yeah, I would keep it on the agenda, because I tell you what, having come back to Perth after 3 days of just being in the beautiful, you know what, it just makes me value Rot Nest all the more at the moment. So the customers, I mean, we thought about that, no keep cups, social distancing, all of that sort of stuff. But the customers, you know, I'm on the ground and they don't really want it yet. So I think they're really to have a place that's but again, we haven't had a case on Rotto yet, so it might all change.
Yeah. And I guess the only thing the other thing that, you know, we're not sure about the ferries. We don't know what the ferry companies will be doing and things like that. Yeah,
well, they apparently the ferries had gone to 100%. I don't know yesterday that they come to I can't remember. I need to get through today. But they come to some sort of passenger. They don't need to. They don't actually need to be doing that.
Yeah, I think transport. I mean, that's a small word taking in a lot of things, but I think transport are exempt from that.
Yeah.
That ban. So, yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how things go. Whether people are willing to get on a ferry and sit next to other people, or how they space it all out, or
sit out the back in the open air.
Well, yeah, there's always that. So we'll keep it on the agenda. and we'll keep reviewing it as we go. I know this.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we'll keep it on our calendar, and just play it by ear.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'd be really nice.
I agree.
Actually, one thing that we're talking about in Roto is that because they have this long stay over winter, where over the winter and stay in a chalet on Roto for a very cheap rate. So, be interesting.
Yeah, as long as places don't hike their prices to try and take advantage of things, that's the only other thing. And I know Julie, who did come onto the call at the beginning, but we couldn't see her or hear her, from the Joondalup group. I know that her and Kevin have booked, although they booked to come on the 22nd, not the 15th.
Yeah.
And they booked accommodation, but they were having trouble cancelling it or moving it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll check in with her and see what's happened on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for day trips, as long as the ferries are going, then I think we should all come and see you.
Yeah.
That'd be great. We'll need a bit of relief by then.
Mm-hmm.
So fantastic. All right. So I'm going to wrap up unless anybody's got anything else they wanted to say. I didn't do any of the education segment today because I just wanted everybody to have a chance to talk and contribute based on what's changed since the last time we met. And yeah, we'll get better at doing this. If anybody's got something that they want to present to the group, so then we'll organise that as well. It's not all about me and what I want to present. I think we can have a really good session next time on Facebook marketing and social media marketing and what's working for individuals. You know, it's one thing to get an expert in to come and talk about it, but I'd much rather hear from people who are actually doing it. And I know Nick and Franco, Andrew are doing a whole lot of stuff that's working. So does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Nodding heads at this time is good.
Yeah.
And we're past 11 o'clock, so we've had the 2.5 hours. I really, really appreciate you all coming and contributing and helping. So let's stick together and keep the help going. We'll get through this. We'll come out bigger and better on the other side, whenever that might be. And go the Eagles. Sorry, had to. So onwards and upwards. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the recording now and end the meeting. If anybody wants to, I won't stop.